What's happening, everybody? First, gotta start off with a disclaimer. Yes, I am sick. I sound extra nasally. I can hear myself, so I don't know how it's gonna come across in the video, but I still want to drop this video because I wanted to talk about DC Comics Giants, the new volume, Volume 2. Well, for at least a few of these titles, it's Volume 2. Some of these didn't have a previous volume. So, DC Comics Giants have been around, or at least I don't know if they had any previous ones, but last year, the year before, they started releasing these volumes that were exclusive to Wally World, aka Walmart, and they were 100-page giants of, I don't know, Justice League, Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, maybe Flash. I don't think, maybe Flash was part of Wonder Woman, but there are a few titles, 100 issues, or 100 pages, 100 issues, 100 pages, and they were basically reprints. A lot of them seem to be reprints of New 52 stuff, so that's why I didn't get them, even though I thought they were cool. I think a lot of them were reprints of mostly New 52 stuff, which I had all the titles I wanted from New 52, so there was nothing in there for me to jump into it. But then, and they were exclusive to Walmart for $4.99. But then they started releasing, or they kind of ended those, and they were going to expand the line as well as make them non-exclusive anymore. So that means they were going to hit comic shops, and I think Target too. I have seen online that they were going to hit in Targets. I haven't seen them, but maybe I just haven't found where they were in Target. But the rub is they're going to come to comic shops. It seems to be a week or two, probably around 2 weeks roughly, but I've heard 2.5, and based on seeing them in stores and then seeing them available online, yes, roughly about 2 weeks. So we're going to just talk about them and just kind of going into accessibility, which I've touched on in my Comics for Kids video and my my Walmart and Five Below comic pack unpacking video. I also have another one of those coming at some point, so be on the lookout for that. But I want to talk about accessibility because finding comics in Five Below, Walmart, and apparently Target, as well as BAM, aka Books A Million, which I've talked about before. BAM has comics because they did. At one point, they did have newer issues, but then looks like they just went back to back issues, and then they have a massive trade paperback collection, which bookstore, of course, they will. But the short boxes full of back issues, fantastic. A lot of dollar books, which I've found good books in, so good whole fillers, and then a couple other random hidden gems, so that's cool. But getting comics out there, comics out to the masses, because not everybody, first, let's face the big thing, comic shops can be pretty niche for some people, and for some people I don't know, could be a fear thing, anxiety thing, don't know what to expect when they're going there, and there are comic shop horror stories out there, harassment issues, and just terrible retailers who lack customer service skills, which is an awful thing to possess when you're in a business, especially in what should be such a friendly business as comic retailing. So getting comics out there and just getting them out to people and just putting them out there. Walmart obviously is a retail giant, so you get comics out there, especially at least in my Walmart, they are by the check lanes along with a lot of the gaming stuff, Pokemon and all that stuff there, and a lot of other small collectibles. So put them right there up by the checkouts. Of course, it is kind of crowded, so when I go to look at them, you're like, oh, excuse me, they're kind of squeezed through. Some people up there trying to check out in the self-checkout lanes, so they're there. But then also reminds me of when I was a kid, there was a grocery store up the street, and I used to be able to walk down there, and I could buy a couple comics every, I don't know, so whenever I had a couple dollars, I would go buy a couple comics, and a lot of those I read the hell out of, so they were beating shit, and I eventually replaced a lot of those. I remember getting Wolverine issues, and I had every other issue for must have been 6 months, I guess, I don't know, because it was between 4 or 5 issues, and I had every other issue, I don't know, something like that. But anyways, they were all beat to hell because I would read them a lot because those were just a few issues that I had, so constantly rereading those. Anyways, that was one grocery store, and then another grocery store I was just remember finding, we didn't even go to the store that much, but I remember in high school going there with my mom, and they had comic books, or they had an aisle, like in the magazine aisle, they had comic books there. I think they might have had a spinner rack too, but I remember grabbing some issues there. X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, Wolverine, which were the only three titles along with Spawn that I really read as a kid. So, well, Wolverine probably much later, but so it was usually just X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, and Spawn. And those are issues I would usually get at the comic shop when I had a few dollars. So that's just accessibility. Finding comics, being able to pick up comics, and just the different places that you can get. I've seen, even on YouTube, you can find videos of people finding comics at Dollar Tree. They used to sell them at Toys R Us years ago. I remember that. And so finding these, or having these in Walmarts now, just available to the public, and then also producing, so they're not exclusive anymore. So being able to pick them up in comic shops. Other thing, as I said, the time delay, usually a couple weeks, but they also have different covers, which was kind of maddening because it was confusing as hell trying to figure out the solicitation info, trying to figure out if there's a difference between these, because didn't know if there were, why the covers were different, if they were different volumes, or what was going on with them. They were just different books entirely, but they were just, Walmart has one cover and shops have a different cover. So that mystery is out of the way. If that confused you as it did me, I helped you solve that there, so you're welcome. As I kind of go through these, I will throw up the covers and mention the cover artists as well, so you kind of understand, or kind of, so you can see the differences and which ones are which. But part of it is, the main one I wanted was Batwoman and Supergirl, World's Finest, because Batwoman and Supergirl are two of my favorite DC characters, so I just had to get that one. And I will be getting, this is probably the only one that I actually legit want both covers of. And then I'll also just kind of run through all of the ones I got so far, and then I'll lay out the covers there as well. So here's Aquaman #1 with the cover by Joshua Middleton, and then actually I forgot the format of this. So the Aquaman #1, and this is, all these are the Walmart ones. So that cover is by Joshua Middleton, and then the comic shop cover is by Liam Sharp. And then Batman #1. I really just kind of picked this up on a whim, but I actually like both of the Batman covers, both of the comic shop versions, the covers by Eddie Barrows and Eber Ferreira. But this one is by Greg Capullo. A lot of those, there seems to be some, I don't know. That one's, I feel like that one's more New 52, or that one's actually 700, isn't it? I feel like that's the cover from Batman 700. Or something like, was it 800? No. I don't know now. 700. Anyways, so that's Batman. And then, not David Finch. Greg Capullo. Oh, wait. Yeah, this was David Finch. Batman #2, the Walmart version, is covered by Greg Capullo. That one's the New 52 version. And then, of course, as I showed this one, Batwoman, Supergirl, World's Finest. This one is Steve Epting and Robson Rocha. And then the comic shop version is by Joelle Jones, Artist Supreme. Talked about her before. Fantastic artist. Go check out some of her work. And then Flash #2. This is Francis Manapul here. And the cover for, the comic shop cover for #2 is by Cully Hamner. And then #1, which I will be getting as well. I'm gonna get the comic shop version of that one, or either one, whichever one I can find. Dan Panosian did the cover for the comic shop version for Flash #1, and then the Walmart version cover is done by Clayton Henry, who I fancy as well. He's cool, and Marcelo Maiolo. I think that's how you pronounce that name, Maiolo. And then that's Flash. And then I picked up both Wonder Womans as well. So here is #1, Wonder Woman #1. This one is by Liam Sharp and Laura Martin. And then the comic shop version cover is done by Amanda Connor. Fantastic artist, but I don't actually like that cover. Plus, Harley Quinn's on the cover, and I don't care so much about her. But I think this one because Wonder Woman. And then this one, I really like this one. This was one of the first ones I actually remember looking at. So here is Wonder Woman #2. This cover is by Nicola Scott, who is fantastic, and Romulo Fajardo Jr. And then the variant for, or the variant, but the comic shop cover is done by Amanda Connor, and that one won't be out for, I don't know, that's a few weeks away as well. Because these ones, the number 2s for Wonder Woman and I think Batman, and the Batwoman Supergirl one is out in comic shops. The Wonder Woman 2 will be out shortly, and as well as Batman 2. Those should be out in shops soon. But I will have all those images up there so you can kind of see the differences with the covers. But and also, I'm not going to do a review of these, not right now anyway. I just wanted to kind of just touch on those and kind of show off some of those and some of the ones I picked up. And then also wanted to touch on why I decided to go into these. Because along with the ending the exclusivity, the Walmart exclusivity, they are actually producing new stories. So a lot of these feature around 5 stories, and a lot of them have new content. So 2 to 3 new stories. Let's show off this one. This one's Batman. Yeah. Should just flip this over, but you can kind of see in there. New story, or it says new, so this kind of lists the stories, and then they say all new, they're new. So this kind of gives you an idea. So this one has 6 stories actually, and then even though I have most of these except for the new ones obviously, but it does have the rebirth issues for Batwoman and Supergirl. So this is cool. And also I think this one, why this one is out there, is because Supergirl already has a show on the CW, and Batwoman's show just debuted like 2 weeks ago, give or take. And so right now they're both hot. Obviously you gotta, like, I don't know, tie it into the DCEU, just more press since they're already out there kind of getting that mind share. And then also in the back you can kind of see, I haven't seen, actually looked at the comic shop versions like up close. I've seen them in shops, I just haven't taken a look at them. But also in this you can kind of see in the back, kind of list some of the credits, and it kind of shows you which some new material, then the reprint issues, as well as the cover credits. But it also says, you can kind of see where it says mass market edition. So I'm curious to see what it shows for the comic shop version, if that's different or if the barcode differs. So I haven't seen that. So if anybody has the comic shop version, which I'm sure some of you do, just let me know how that differs from the Walmart edition. So anyways, yeah, just wanted to touch on that and just kind of share this. Oh, also what I meant to mention was why I wanted to do this, because the new stories, and then also the Aquaman one, which is kind of new because I don't really read a lot of Aquaman. I haven't read a lot of Aquaman. The first issue for the New 52 was actually cool. I just didn't bother to pick up anymore. I ended up getting that one. I don't know if I got it cheap or I just decided to pick it up on a whim. But other ones I like, obviously I already said I like Batwoman, Supergirl, Batman, and Wonder Woman, Flash. All characters I like and have read previously and extensively enough. So Aquaman trying out, and then a lot of them do have feature their title characters in most of the stories, but then some of them do have some other stories. Like Aquaman has like some of the Teen Titans in there, and then Wonder Woman might have some Green Lantern stuff, Amethyst, and then in the Flash it has Green Arrow, Blue Beetle, and Wonder Woman again, some more Green Lantern and Amethyst stuff. So just kind of adding in some other characters, and just kind of reminds me of comic events, which I've talked about before, and just kind of giving readers an opportunity to kind of catch up or just kind of experience other characters that you typically don't, which I like. Is something that's a big draw for me with comic events, especially in comic events and in comic book sales that shops have, which I've been to quite a few this year, getting ready to go hit some more coming at the end of the year. So just great opportunity to just kind of experience some other characters, especially creators as well, that you might not typically get exposed to, and just value proposition, which is big. Comics are roughly, $4.99 or $3.99 right now. A lot of debut issues or event ones might be up $4.99. Anniversary issues can go $4.99, $5.99. We've seen them $7.99, $8.99, $9.99. That's a lot. And disposable income varies across the board. Comic readers vary in just wealth and all that stuff. So it's it can be kind of rough when you're trying to, and especially with the number of titles that Marvel and DC puts out, Image at times, and then all the other publishers. So we're fighting for a market share, and we've seen those bestseller lists, and it's obviously going to be dominated by Marvel and DC, just strictly based on the number of titles that they put out every week. It's just a massive list. You're scrolling down, Diamond's new releases, and scrolling down. I always look at those every week, and yeah, it's just a lot. So you're fighting for market share, fighting for dollars, and this is just a fantastic way. First, as I said, accessibility goes right there in the store, and then value proposition, $5, 100 pages. That's a lot. New stories, reprints, and if you're just either a lapsed reader or just a new reader, young reader who hasn't experienced much of comics, this is fantastic because it's even more new material for you. Someone like me and a lot of us in the YouTube comic community and just more versed collectors have experienced some of these stories in there, so it just sometimes maybe a chance to revisit them, or even for some of us, you just haven't seen a lot of them. Like I said, Aquaman. I haven't read a lot of Aquaman, and I even joke about Aquaman being a, it's like what I say, it's talking about Aquaman being a like a seahorse. What was it? Crossing guard, seahorse crossing guard, something like that. Seahorse traffic guard, something like that. I forgot. It was something, but that's just joke about Aquaman. Why not? Because he's Aquaman. He's not that cool, but he does have some cool stories every so often. But anyway, yeah, so that's just want to touch on that and kind of get some of you guys' feelings on DC Comics Giants and their accessibility. What you think of the stories? Which ones have you picked up? Which ones are you hoping for? And it's kind of what are you on the lookout for? As I said, this is cool for me, and I'm ready to check out some of these new stories. Got Clayface in here, which is cool. And then Batwoman, Supergirl, as I said, because those are two fantastic characters. And this one, Aquaman one, because I had to get this one because it's Joshua Middleton cover. And then also Black Manta, who's a character I haven't read much on. So I'm interested to see kind of what they do there. And then Flash, because he just has some cool robes, and it's a Flash. So, and Wonder Woman is just fantastic all around. I don't care so much about Steve Trevor, but Wonder Woman is cool. And then that cover by Nicola Scott is fantastic. So yeah, so this just want to share my thoughts on that, especially in comics accessibility and just the value proposition, and just kind of give you there's some more information if you're out there curious and you were confused about how this was handled by DC. It was kind of vague. As I said, they were just solicitation info. It, especially coming up for shop, it's just extremely vague online. It's hard to figure out what the hell is the what, and which one's the comic shop cover, which one's the Walmart cover, and what's even included in the books before they come out weeks. So you can, like, trying to pre-order this stuff, you have no idea what reprint materials in there is all. So no surprise, this is my shock face that DC would do that. So big time publisher. So anyways, let me know what you think of the DC Comics 100-page Giants. Which ones have you picked up? Which ones are you looking forward to? And yeah, which stories have you enjoyed so far? Any big surprises that you weren't expecting? So yeah, just curious. Let me know what you think. And happy hunting, happy collecting, happy reading. And this is GENOTHADRAGON saying thanks for watching and peace out.